Welcome back to Touring the AFC South. I am your host, Mike Patton. And, we've talked about Tennessee, the Titans. We've talked about the Jacksonville Jaguars. But there's two other teams in the AFC South. We do have to talk about them, of course. One of them is the Houston Texans. Now, I will say this. They had a lot of turmoil last season. I can't say they won't have that this season either. However, there is some renewed optimism down there, with the new draft pick and everything. So, we got to check in to the Houston Texans camp, and there is nobody better to talk to about that than the lunch breaks, AJ Jones. What's going on, man?
Hey, man, not much happening down here, but what's going on with you, brother? Always a pleasure to be on Touring the AFC South.
Man, hey, thanks for creating the time. I appreciate it. Now, I've got to ask, the first question I have, this is the first question that came to my mind. Derek Stingley Jr.
Yep.
Now, I don't think very many expected him to be the third overall pick. Did you see that one coming, and what was your reaction?
Well, I'll be honest with you. A lot of the folks that I follow, and I don't follow everybody, a lot of the folks that I followed had Derek Stingley as the possibility at that pick. They had some decent insiders because he was on the very top of the Texans draft board. Now, of course, we thought, edge rusher, because there really had been a pass rush in Houston for a while, and I guess folks got used to seeing it with J.J. Watt and them. But we thought maybe they'd go offensive line, which they did a little bit later on down that first round. But there are a lot of people that were not surprised that Derek Stingley Jr. was that pick.
Yeah, well, it definitely kind of threw me off a little bit because, we hadn't quite seen the spectacular play from him quite as much, injuries, things like that,
right.
Since his freshman year at
right.
LSU. But he does have those abilities, though. So I've got to ask, how's he looked so far? How has he been out there on the field? So
you kind of get a feel that you can see what they saw. I think he's closer to making us see what Nick Caserio and the Brain Trust saw in him, because he's got some skills, he's got some talent, and he's got an instinct to the ball, and we're seeing that already out of him. So if he stays healthy, might turn out to be a good pick for Nick Caserio and the crew.
Yeah, and as far as the fit, how is can you see Lovie kind of giving him instruction, or is he really needing more, very much instruction, or is he kind of just fitting into what Lovie wants to do so far?
Yeah, that's a good thing about Lovie. Lovie is a really good player coach, and he's a coach that develops players. And I'm going to be honest with you, that hadn't been done around here in a long, long time. If there's any knock on the former guy, and I'm skipping over, the last coach, I'm talking about Bill O'Brien. He was not a very good developer of players. He just really wasn't. So Lovie Smith is just the opposite of that. So Lovie is not going to rush him along too fast, but he's not going to baby him either. And you can see that happening. When he makes a mistake, you can see Lovie talking him through it. When he makes a great play, you can see Lovie, giving him accolades, but not going over the top, because either way, the wrong way, and it's a problem. So I think Lovie is the right person for him in this situation. He can be as great as he can possibly be, and Lovie's not going to throw him into that too soon.
All right, let's talk about another SEC pick that was from, of course, SEC West as well. That'd be John Mechie III.
Yep.
Now, how is he looking out there? I know he's coming off an ACL tear late in the season. How's he looking?
Not doing much. And I don't blame him. He made the big bombshell announcement immediately following the draft that he'll be ready in July. But I like the fact that the team is taking their time with him. And they need to, because if they can get him 100% healthy, and you got Brandon Cooks, and you got him, man, there's no such thing as taking the top off of it. The top is already off of it. Now you got to wonder where they're going to be and just how wide open are they. They've got some good things in store if they can bring him along in their time frame, not his time frame.
All right, now definitely he did some things at Alabama, and you got to think they had two of their star wide receivers tear ACL, so and both of them still drafted in the first round.
Right, right, right.
Or,
and again, the talent's there.
No,
You
not
can
first round, but early.
Yeah, right. Early in the draft, because they got him in the second round, I think 44th pick, somewhere around there. But again, you can see that they're trying to build something. And I've been hard. Nobody's been harder on Nick Caserio and Jack Easterby, who's now, you got to look to find him now. He's not as prevalent as he was before. And I think that's a testament to Lovie Smith. I think that's a testament to, his coaching staff. And I think that's a testament to Nick Caserio. He wants to put his stamp on this team independent of the Jack Easterbys of the world. So I feel really creating an environment where this young team has a chance to come together and try and, define their own legacy, not walking in the shadow of any other team or any other coach.
Gotcha. Now, of course, I would say probably the most important rookie that they have, Kenyan Green.
Yeah.
The second first round draft pick that they had, that offensive line, of course, I don't need to go into how much, they need work there, but they need some help. And can Kenyan Green, do you think he's going to be that guy for them?
Well, it depends on where he fits. And let me try and do it. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay. So they're moving him around the line. They've got him playing at left guard. They got him playing at right tackle. And it's going to be a matter of where he fits. And I think they want him to be a starter on that line. I think that they need him to be a starter on that line. It's just where he will actually be when it's all said and done. And I think it's too soon to tell that. We're talking about shorts, T-shirts and helmets. We're not talking about full pads. We're not talking about a lot of the veterans giving them resistance and stuff like that. We'll know more when training camp comes around. We'll know more in preseason, and we'll definitely know more when the season gets started.
Right. For Houston Texans' sake, hopefully he is a starter and he means business, because they definitely need some people there.
Yeah, sure. The odd man out is Max Sharping. He's the odd man out. He more than likely is not going to be on this roster if things go the way that we think that they're going to go with the addition of this young man. And look, they signed him to a fully guaranteed contract. It's a rookie deal, but still fully guaranteed. So, I think that speaks volumes about what they think of him and what they expect of him.
Right. Now, of course, we're going to switch gears a little bit. We're going to talk about the new head coach of the Houston Texans, Lovie Smith. So what can you say about the feel of things just with him there as opposed to the previous head coach, which, I'm not saying his name. I'm not saying it out of disrespect. I'm just saying it because I'm still get irritated when I think about how he got treated. But,
yeah. And again, I'm going to go cross sports real quick. It's like when Dusty Baker came in. There were a lot of people that were on one side of it or the other. A lot of folks loved A.J. Hinch. A lot of folks hate what he allowed to happen. But Dusty was the guy that came in and stabilized things. Dusty wasn't too high. Dusty wasn't too low. Dusty wouldn't let people pull him into stuff that he had no control over or nothing to do with. And Dusty didn't try to make any bold, brash claims. It's the exact same thing with Lovie Smith. With Lovie Smith there, it has been a situation where Lovie is literally so measured and confident in who he is and what he has learned over these decades in the league that there's not a lot of remembrance of the former regimes. In fact, I think Jim Trotter said it best when they came down and checked out the Texans. I don't know where this phrase is coming from, but the adults are back in charge. The adults are back in charge. And I said it earlier, and I'll say it again. We haven't seen a whole lot of Jack Easterby. Just haven't seen a whole lot of Jack Easterby. And there's no need to when you've got Lovie Smith, who knows what he's doing, So I think he's the right man for the job. I'm not counting wins or anything like that. I'm just talking about his presence, his wisdom, his knowledge, his ability to, get on the level of the player and speak to them on their level. I think that Lovie Smith is the right guy for the job.
Well, I will say in the case of Jack Easterby, less is more.
Yeah,
less is definitely more.
And I'm not saying anything negative. I hope he's alive and well. But if we don't see him anymore, we'll be fine. Yeah, we'll be just fine.
Right. Now, as far as the the pace and things like that of practice, how is it different this year going around with Lovie?
Well, again, it's different, but it's definitive. Like there is a method to everything that Lovie and Pep Hamilton does, and I want to talk about him a little bit. But you can tell that they have a method to their madness, and they are paying a lot of attention to the details. I'm not saying they're going to be basic offensively, definitely not defensively. Lovie Smith's history defensively, but they're going to pay attention to the details. They're not going to just do a whole lot of things and not do any of them well. They're going to pay attention to the details in everything that they do, and we're starting to see that right now.
Well, I definitely think that's good news for Houston Texans fans.
Yeah.
as we have somebody that's hit up the Torn the AFC South inbox on to Lane the second says really looking forward to the Texans seeing the Texans this season. So
and you heard me say on my show, if they win 7 games, man, they better not come for Lovie in a bad way. You've had back-to-back 4-win seasons. If they win 7 games, they almost doubled their win output. That means they're trending in the right direction. Nobody, Bill Belichick, Andy Reid, Sean McVay, Mike Tomlin, nobody could come in here and turn this thing around overnight. The Texans are not going to be a worse to first story. They're going to be a worse to better story. And I think we're already seeing how that's going to come to pass.
Now, you did speak about Pep Hamilton, which I honestly think that, he should be almost in head coaching interviews at this point, to be honest. I mean, he groomed Andrew Luck from Stanford to Indianapolis, and now he's there in Houston. I mean, what do you think of the prospects of him just being the offensive coordinator? And I mean, Lovie's more than likely just going to give him the reins. So what do you think of that?
As he should. I mean, Tony Dungy said it, how Pep Hamilton developed the quarterbacks that he had, including Peyton Manning and Andrew Luck. And a lot of folks might be new to Pep Hamilton, but Pep Hamilton's not new to the NFL and being around offenses and developing quarterbacks. That being said, there is not, in my mind now, I know some folks are going to roll their eyes and pull a hammy. There's not a lot of difference between Pep Hamilton and Sean McVay. The difference is Pep hadn't had the opportunity to do it. I think Pep is as innovative. I think Pep is as creative. And I think Pep is as attentive to the details that makes a good play work offensively as anyone. He runs plays with intent, not just to be running plays. I said it earlier. Just because you can call plays doesn't mean that you are a good offensive coordinator. Anybody can call plays. Hell, Bill O'Brien can call plays. Doesn't make him a good offensive coordinator. Pep Hamilton's got a method to his madness. He runs plays to set up things way down the line. He runs plays to get information. Oh, that's what the defense is going to do when we do that. I wonder if we add a little something to this. Not even trying to break it then, but just to get the information he needs, pass it on to his quarterback, pass it on to that offensive, line, offensive team, and then make some things happen. And I'll tell you, that kind of stuff's going to pay off.
Well, it's going to pay off definitely if your quarterback is up to task. Now, speaking of quarterback, year 2 of Davis Mills. How has he looked so far?
Yeah, night and day. I'll be very honest. And again, I've been hard on Davis Mills as well. Last year looked like a rookie, hadn't caught the speed of the game. If it wasn't for the fact he was wearing the thing on his helmet, don't hit him, and the red jersey, please don't hit him, and folks would get him and have to let him go, he never would have gotten a pass off in training camp. This year, more decisive, knows where he's going with the ball. You can see him trying to think about progressions and whatever the coaching staff is teaching him night and day. But again, he's already coming into this season knowing he's going to be the starter. Man, that's huge. That's like a tank full of gas, man. You ain't got to worry about 415 for another 300, 400 miles. That's a tank full of gas right there.
Now, as far as him being more comfortable and knowing he's going to be the starter, Has that kind of seeped over to developing leadership or kind of pointing out things on the field to other players or different things there?
I mean, I guess. I don't think we'll know until there's an issue. I mean, pointing out plays and where a person should have been is fine until it's not. What happens when somebody tells him to mind his business? Or what happens when somebody tell him, I ran my play, I ran my route, you know, get me the ball. You know, we'll see. We won't know. I hope it doesn't come in through adversity. You know, I hope it doesn't take that. Nobody wants mess, and I don't want a lot of mess around Lovie and Pep and the team at all. But we'll see. We'll see. If he tries to go too hard, he'll probably get some pushback. If he does things respectfully and does them just right, just because the team made you the starter doesn't necessarily make you a leader.
That's true. That's true. Now, I'll ask you this. What do you expect from him as the starter in terms of not just numbers, but just in general, kind of with the assertion that he's going to be the starter. Yeah. He knows he's going to be the starter, and he's walking with a little bit more swagger to his step.
Yeah, you know, swagger and confidence are fine. Conceit and arrogance, we've seen how that will flame you out fast, man. I mean, Baker Mayfield is closer to being out of the league than he is being in it. And that's you know, it seems like hyperbole, but it's really not. How many more chances and how many more places will he get those chances? So if Davis Mills goes about his business the right way and he progresses and he develops and he does more well than he did last season and he gets more right than he gets wrong, he's not going to be the next Tom Brady or Aaron Rodgers day after tomorrow, but he can be a very good quarterback. And I like the fact that they're putting some tools around him. You know, I wish they would have did that with Tyrod Taylor, but, you know, this is their guy. This is their guy. So if he keeps himself in check, this team, this organization seems to be willing to give him what he needs to be successful.
Well, it's definitely going to be interesting watching the Houston Texans this year and to see how they develop, whether it be offensively or defensively, which I didn't talk about the defense, but for, you know, Derek Stingley, but they did get a fabulous safety in the draft this year.
They did, and they needed that. Losing Justin Reed, and again, I don't know why more was not made about the fact that they didn't do a whole lot to try and keep Tyrann Mathieu. And if they would have and allowed Justin to develop under Tyrann Mathieu, man, we'd be having a whole different story right now. But I just hope that they don't put too much on, you know, the young safety.
Petrie, I think his name's Petrie.
Yeah, put too much on him and put too much on Stingley. If they bring those guys along, and again, I know Lovie will do that. Lovie eats and sleeps defense while we're doing other stuff. Lovie is defense minded, based on who he has, not his system. So I think if they take their time with Petrie, if they take their time with Stingley, I think they're going to be fine.
All right. Well, there is a rainbow in Houston right now, and we definitely provided one with some of the talk about the Houston Texans and some of the rainbows that are looking on the horizon there, or potentially on the horizon.
Listen, it has been bleak around here. There's no doubt about it. It's been bleak. It's been bleak since Bill O'Brien, and unfortunately it costs other people their jobs. And now they've got somebody in who it looks like the organization is going to give a fair shot to. That's all we've ever asked for. That's all we've ever asked for. So if they give them a fair shot, I think there's some rainbows here. I think this team can be significantly better than last season. Again, I'm not talking about Cincinnati from last to Super Bowl. What I'm talking about is getting out of that 4-5 win arena, being competitive in every game, and really playing well, not making dumb mistakes, and executing on a consistent basis. I think they can do some things.
Well, we do have a few people that have commented in the touring the AFC South inbox. TJ Beatty, my former college teammate, loving the interview. So he's loving what you're saying, AJ.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
And as far as Herm P, he said, I'm glad Reed is gone. He wasn't scared of Henry.
Well, I'm going to just say this, man. Reed played well against Henry most of the time. But I will never forget him getting out of position and Henry going for a long touch. We had a long time to watch Justin Reed chasing Derrick Henry down the field.
Well, speaking of defense and everything, we're going to start the game. Are you ready? We got 5 questions for you.
All right, I'm ready. Hold on. Let me sit back. Okay.
All right. What has the more probability of happening? Brandon Cooks gets 1,000 yards, or a defender for the Houston Texans gets 10 sacks by himself?
Brandon Cooks getting 1,000 yards. Like, no doubt.
Yeah, I don't see honestly, I don't see anyone getting 10 sacks on that defense. Maybe Lovie could scheme it up, but I just don't see it right now. It's going to be a collective effort, in my opinion.
Yeah, Lovie's more of a turnover type coach, forcing turnovers. So it'll be sacks by committee. I'll put it that way.
All right. Now, Laramie Tunsil. We know with Laramie Tunsil, he has a propensity to false start. Going into this year, more or less than 20 false starts for him for the season. That's over 1 a game.
Less. I'm going to say less, and I'm going to say less for a different reason than what you think. I don't know if Laramie Tunsil is going to be on this team this year. I don't.
Ooh.
I don't. I really think that the Texans may, and again, I'm talking Nick Caserio now. I'm not talking Jack or Cal. I'm talking Nick. Nick, one thing I know he doesn't like is a lot of mess and a lot of drama. A lot of the guys that they had problems with last season are no longer here. And if they can find a trade partner and get some value for Laramie Tunsil, he might be false starting for somebody else.
You heard it here first. Davis Mills.
Yeah.
More touchdown passes to Mechie or Cooks?
Cooks.
I will say this, if those two guys are out there playing, is that, like you said, the top's going to get blown off the stadium for real.
Yeah. Cooks was a safety blanket. And when they were talking about not bringing him back, it was like, what are y'all doing? And sure enough, he signed it. I know somewhere Davis Mills said, thank you.
All right. Now, in the running back room, not very many people are excited about that. However, they did go get a guy from Indianapolis. However, he is coming off a injury-riddled kind of last couple of years in Marlon Mack. So I'm going to put this question to you. More carries and yards, Marlon Mack or Rex Burkhead?
Marlon. If Marlon stays healthy, and I'm just going to assume that he will, might not have a big year, but may have a productive year. And that's what the Texans need. They need a productive running game. Don't have to have 1,000-yard rusher or somebody go up to 15, something like that. It'd be great if they do. But if they can have some production at the running game, and I'm not just talking about Rex Burkhead. Rex should be who he's always been, a third down back or a possession receiver out of the backfield or somebody who you can sneak in there for a 3 or 4 yard gain on third down or something short. But if you're going to depend upon Rex Burkhead, you're already in trouble. So Marlon Mack, I think if he stays healthy, yeah, they're going to be fine. Now, more out of Marlon than Rex.
All right. And I'm going to slip in a defensive question for you.
All right.
Jalen Reeves-Maybin. Now, I've known him since his Tennessee days. He was actually, I believe he was a quarterback in high school. Then he became a linebacker at University of Tennessee. Then, of course, he's a linebacker in the NFL. He's now playing for the Houston Texans, and he's known to be a tackling machine. Of course, you do have Christian Kirksey that you brought back too. Now, between those two, who do you think has more tackles, Reeves-Maybin or Christian Kirksey?
You know what? Kirksey, I think, was getting comfortable as the season went on. And let me tell you how I know. Not just because of his stats, but they kept bringing him in the interview room after the game. So, obviously, they were seeing him as a leader. They were seeing his play as something talk-worthy and newsworthy. I feel like he picks up where he left off. I think that he's going to get some added value, but I think Kirksey's gonna take a next step.
All right, we'll definitely see. Hearn P's predicting that Marlon can get the Texans 600 yards this year.
And again, somewhere right in there, that's solid. We'll take that's productive. That we talking 200, 300. That's Rex Burkhead. We talking about 600, 700. Yeah, that's productive. We'll take that.
All right. Well, that ends my game for this episode. You survived.
Yeah. Thank you.
Now, I want to thank you for coming on. Thank you for, addressing the Houston Texans with me. Hopefully, Lovie does well. Of course, the Titans fans up here in Nashville, hope he doesn't do well against them. But that's another story for another day. Thank you for coming on with me. If you will, give everybody your information, where they can find you on social media, where they can find your show, all of that information you want to give.
Right there, man. They can hit me up at Jones Media and Entertainment. I retired from radio and started my own media and production company called JM&E. Man, we're doing a whole lot of stuff. Just been filming reality TV shows, got some documentaries that I've got camera crews on and things like that. And I'm building a news and sports team with a group called SGA TV. So really excited about the opportunities that have been afforded to me. Again, you can follow me on all social media platforms at Jones Media and ENT. And hey, man, I'm very accessible. So reach out. I'll be more than happy to hit you back up, have you on my show, The Lunch Break, Tuesdays through Fridays from 12 to 1. And really looking forward to doing some great things. Mike, I got to have you back on. So next time you off, you let me know, man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And also, you got to mention, man, BS3, man. You got to mention BS3.
And I got to tell you, Ben Sutter III is a genius, man. He has pulled together a great network called BS3 TV. And I broadcast live on Roku TV every Monday through Friday. And I appreciate him. So if you're looking for an opportunity to get on Roku, BS3 TV is it. And I'll be making some announcements with some other things. Mike, you and I have talked about them for some other streaming platforms real soon. But BS3 TV, absolutely love the family, man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Can't forget to talk about BS3. But thank you for coming on. Thank you for talking Houston Texans. And we've definitely created a rainbow for them with this entire conversation.
Tell Ryan Jones, I said I agree with him. Joneses are the best, man. That's why people are keeping up with the Joneses.
He set you up for that one perfectly. Everyone, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. You've been tuned in to Touring the AFC South with your host, Mike Patton. We're out.